and now in our 13th award-winning season. Your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Stripes, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. We start a brand new series today here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We're glad to have you along with us. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Last week, ho-hum, Paul Berger moves into the Tournament of Champions for the 8th time in 9 years, and now he has to sit back and figure out who's going to be bowling against him in the spring.
That's right. He had a little slump last year, didn't make the show, but he made up for this year. He made it the first try.
All right, let's meet our two bowlers for this afternoon's competition. Of course, we start out with our two lowest seeds in our first week of the 4-week series. Our number 5 seed from Manchester, New Hampshire is Paul St. Pierre.
Okay, and Paul's been with us before. He averages 125, high single 197, and his roll-off score 649.
Been with us before, but Paul has been away from the singles competition here for quite a while. It's been about 6 years since he's been here in singles competition, and he will face today our number 4 seed from Quincy, Massachusetts, who was just here earlier this year, actually back in January, Rich Hallberg.
Okay, and Rich comes in averaging 122, high single 184. His roll-off score 1 pin better than Paul at 650.
All right, our bonus ball contest coming up at the end of the hour today. $120 is the amount that's at stake there, and an even larger amount in our triple strike pool, $450 to either bowler if they can roll a triple strike sometime during this hour. And we will begin this 3 strings of competition between Paul St. Pierre and Rich Hallberg right after we take this time out. Don't go away.
Everyone at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan in Salem, New Hampshire is very proud and excited to again be a major sponsor of Stars and Strikes. We feel that over the years, you, the bowling enthusiast, have become a very important part of our family at Rockingham. And as such, I promise that we will live up to our pledge that we will provide you the best service you have ever experienced. And if you're purchasing a new or used vehicle, at Rockingham, we pledge that we will beat any bona fide deal on any Toyota, any Dodge, or any Nissan anywhere in New England. So just remember, Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan on Route 97 in Salem, New Hampshire.
There is power in a dream, and every hour a dreamer is born. Just imagine the friends we made, the lives we touched, the glory days. 10 years of dreams. 10 years of dreams. 10 years of dreams come true.
This is where we get our health care. This is where Dick Sweat thinks we should get our health care. Dick Sweat co-sponsored a plan to have government take over our health care. It would have created 50 new government agencies and 50,000 new bureaucrats, all paid for by a whopping $71 billion tax increase. The last thing we need is health care from the people who brought us the $600 toilet seat. Dick Sweat. We believe he's too liberal to trust with our money.
Introducing new Honey Nut Clusters. With a taste everybody will love. New Honey Nut Clusters combines honey toasted flakes and honey nut clusters for a delicious honey nutty taste. New Honey Nut Clusters. The taste everybody loves. Everybody.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you in part by Tri-State Megabucks, once again bringing you the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
Welcome back to Park Place Lanes in Windham. We start a brand new 4-week series here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Glad to have you along. These are the 5 bowlers who will be with us in this series. Rich Hallberg and Paul St. Pierre today. Chris Sargent gets the winner of this match on next week's show. In 2 weeks, Gary Carrington will be here. And Charlie Willie, who has never appeared before here in singles competition. He's been with us in doubles before, but came up with the big roll-off, 680, and he is our number 1 seed. By the way, as Paul St. Pierre prepares to start the match here, the roll-off for this series, the final roll-off, held at Meredith Lanes in Meredith, New Hampshire. We want to thank Scott Goss and the crew up there for handling all the details for us up in the Lakes region. Beautiful part of the world.
Paul just sliding by the head pin, had the 1, 2, and 4 to shoot out for a spare. He'll grab it for a 10.
Paul St. Pierre made his last singles appearance with us here on the Winds 6 years ago tomorrow, November 4th, 1990, when he lost a match to Brian McKinley. But even though he hasn't been with us in singles, he's been around on a number of occasions in other competitions, doubles and skins and oh my, almost on the spread eagle.
That close, everything but the 2-pin.
Great try there. By the way, the finals, as we mentioned, held at Meredith Lanes. A total of 61 bowlers competed in the finals. And you just saw the names of the top 5 who qualified to appear on television, as Paul St. Pierre nearly converting the spread eagle. Now keep in mind, as we look at Rich Hallberg for his first 2 boxes, the 61 bowlers that appeared in the finals. Oh, big strike. Rich Hallberg starts with the white cloud.
Yeah, just tripping the 5 and the 8, the last 2 pins that go down. That's nice to start off with a mark right off the bat.
Those 61 bowlers that appeared in the finals had to also compete in preliminary competition, in which they had to compete, or rather finish, in the top 5 in order to advance to the finals. So that gives you an idea of the depth of competition here to reach the point where you can appear on television here on Stars and Strikes. And how about spare on strike for Rich Hallberg?
Well, it's like Rich came to play. 3, 7, 8, 10. Clears them out for the spare on strike. Before we go any further, I'd like to congratulate a couple of the Pro Bowlers, the WCBC winners. So the first event held at the Academy Lanes in Bradford, Mass. Joanne Rosano on the ladies' side, and Det Klein, his first victory on the men's side.
Understand the scores were tight.
Yes.
For that one.
Paul sliding by the head pin. He's got the 1, 4, 7, 10.
And he'll settle for an 8, still looking for his first mark. Paul St. Pierre from Manchester, New Hampshire. He and his wife Maureen have 3 daughters, Jessica, Amanda, and Nicole. Paul works at New Hampshire Stamping Inc. Carries an average of 125. Not quite. A little bit too far outside on the head pin. Couldn't carry the 10.
Make it 37 now through 4 for Paul.
Rich Hallberg was actually here twice last season in singles competition, once back in March and had an earlier appearance also and lost both times, so he's looking for his first win in singles. And he is off to a great start. Strike, spare, strike. If he put a strike in the middle, it would have been worth $450.
A little bit of bounce there. Released the ball right on the foul line. But it was enough to hit the 1-2 pocket and go strike on spare. 3 in a row now for Rich. Looking for the double strike. That close. 2-4 left. Trying to make it 4 marks in a row.
No, not this time. So first open box for Rich. But he has piled up a quick 31-pin lead after just 4 boxes. And Paul St. Pierre still looking for his first mark. Not believe he wanted to see the half-wister.
No, Paul has left the ball to the right of the head pin a number of times. You can't see his footwork though, but he ends up about 1.5 feet behind the foul line. Might just move up a couple inches. Might just pull that ball in to the left a little more and get on the head pin.
We talk about all the different styles that we see. various bowlers, Dan. That's very unusual. See somebody come up that short of the foul line on the approach.
Time he pulled the ball across his body to the left. Leaves himself to 1, 3, and 6, still looking for his first mark. And now you begin to think about it. First 5 boxes are open, and each spare leave you're faced with. You keep telling yourself, let me get the first one. Gotta hurry.
Nope. And a 9. So 55 through 6 for Paul St. Pierre. Candlepin Stars and Strikes brought to you in part by Coca-Cola. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola. Kind of thirsty right now that I think of it.
Four horsemen plus the 5-pin on the left, on the right, I should say.
For the spare, not quite. Just missed the head pin. Rich Hallberg from Quincy, Massachusetts, works in the facilities department at Bank of Boston. Rich maintains his big lead here in the early going. Rich will have a shot at a spare here on the 3-6. He'll be a little cautious of that wood. See how he plays it. Oh yeah, easily done for the spare. And a correction has been made on Paul St. Pierre's score, so now it is now accurate, 55 through 6. 2 spares, 2 strikes now for Rich Hallberg. Threatening to make it very tough here on Paul St. Pierre, who's yet to mark.
Again, missing the head pin to the right, leaves himself the head pin plus the 4, 7, 8 triangle. There's the first one. The crowd gives him a good round of applause, and he also applauds himself, saying, finally.
Hey, he almost didn't make that. The wood deadened the shot, and he was fortunate to get that head pinned in the corner, and he capitalizes. Strike on spare.
Well, Paul's getting the hang of it now.
Rich Hallberg working on a spare. Off to a quick start. Pull that one to the left, though.
Oh, not bad, though. 7-pin drop and an unusual leave in the 1, the 6, and the 8. Piece of wood, a couple pieces of wood in front of the 8-pin. The object here is to catch the head pin, hope the ball takes the 6, or the head pin takes the 6, and the other takes the 8-pin. But you got to have the head pin.
Nope, just slid by it to the left. You could stand here for a year and never see that leave, the 1, 6, and 8.
That's what he wanted to do, that second ball. Gives him 104 through 7.
And he's opposite a strike. A little heavy on the head pin.
2, 4, 7 on the left, 3, 6 right. Piece of wood behind the 3 and 6. You might even go inside the 2-pin, catch the wood. Missed the 2-pin altogether, so a chance for Paul St. Pierre to really cut into that lead by Rich, or of Rich's, I should say, and make it a 9. So the lead is 28 minus the 2 bonus balls on the strike.
Just a little bit high on the head pin, resulting in the split, the 6, 7, and 10.
A couple pieces of wood in front of the 6-10. We'll have to use those, and hopefully the ball or one of those pins can get over, take out the 7. Oh, right behind it. The ball moved over, and then a second piece of wood came across.
Paul was still staring at it. He couldn't believe that the 7 was still there. He gave it every chance to get over there for the spare, but let's see what happened.
Watch the ball go first, up and over, and then that pin just behind the 7 pin.
He did cut the deficit down to 19, though. It was as high as 39 a few boxes ago. Paul would love to convert this in the 10th, and he just slid by the head pin. So he's going to have to settle for a 112 opening game, and he will be trailing. It's just a question of what the margin will be, as Rich Hallberg is already at 113 with 2 boxes to come. Like having 2 free boxes right here.
Yeah, that's for sure. He really likes lane 32. Well, he might not like it so much this box, but. Oh, 3, 6, 10, 2, and 7. Oh. Well, unlucky there to hit the head pin, the 3-pin full. A little bit either way, and he had a shot at making that with a wood behind the 3 and the 6.
Oh, and slides by just 6.
That's an interesting choice there. You might want to go for the 6-10, the 2 pins together in the corner. He elected to go to the other side. So he drops 4 more and count. Lead now 15.
The winner of this match gets Chris Sargent next week. That'll be next Sunday at noon here on the Winds of New England. Don't forget Saturday at noon, Candlepin Skins from Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill. Oh, great spare.
Certainly was. Take a look at this one. Splits the 3 and the 6. 3-pin jumps into the 4 and 7. Nicely done. 129 plus the bonus.
Should increase the lead over 20 again. And he does with a big strike. 20 pins in the 10th, and Rich Hallberg with a 139 and a 27-pin lead after 1 game. We'll be back with Game 2 and details on how you can win our bonus ball contest when we come back. Don't go away.
There is power in a dream, and every hour a dreamer is born. Just imagine the friends we made, the lives we touched, the glory days. 10 years of dreams. 10 years of dreams. 10 years of dreams come true.
You know, I'd always thought that politicians weren't like the rest of us, so I wasn't so sure about Dick Sweat. But when I finally got to know him, I realized he's just a regular guy. And he's got some pretty good ideas, too. I'm not really interested in politics, but I do vote. And I'm gonna vote for Dick Sweat.
Remember? They shut the government down twice. Newt Gingrich and Bob Dole. They tried to cut Medicare $270 billion. Cut education and training $31 billion. Deny adequate health care to millions of children. The president stopped them, protecting Medicare and education while balancing the budget. 10 million new jobs. But Newt Gingrich isn't done. He wants to keep his Republican Congress so they can try again. Don't give them the chance.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch. I love the crunch! Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a grand slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
Honey frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
What's so good about the taste of apple cinnamon Cheerios?
It's an apple thing, right?
Definitely the cinnamon. No way, it's the baked-in taste.
Sliced apples, cinnamon, and brown sugar baked right into every little O of apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Baked-in taste, that's what makes them good.
Have you tried multigrain Cheerios?
I did that multi-grain thing back in the 70s. I don't want to do it again.
I like them.
Low fat.
No flavor.
These are very good.
I like it. It's a 90s kind of thing.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Coming up at the end of the hour, we will have $120 in bonus ball cash up for grabs, and the only way you can win is to send your postcards in. Make sure they're regular-sized postcards only. Send them on in to Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Be sure and include on the cards your name, your full address, and the number from 1 to 10, the number of pins you think will fall in the bonus ball at the end of the hour. If your guess matches the pinfall, then you win the cash, plus a brand new set of bowling balls from Paramount Industries in Medway, Massachusetts, and the bowler also gets a brand new set of bowling balls should there be a match, and we haven't had one yet this season. Rich Hallberg and misfiring on a possible spare opportunity in box number 1.
That ball actually caromed in between the 6 and the 9 pins, hit the wood to the left, and pushed the ball right between those 2 pins. Gets it for the 10.
Rich with that 139 opening game, as you see on the left of the screen. 17 pins above his average. He had 6 marks in that first game. Candlepin Stars and Strikes brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Route 97, Salem, New Hampshire, Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. So 2 open frames for Rich Hallberg. An early opportunity here for Paul St. Pierre to make up some ground, trailing by 27.
Yeah, he doesn't want to wait as long as he did last time for his first mark. Wants to start quick this second game.
Missing the head pin again, but he'll have something to shoot at, the 1, 3, and 7. With some wood that may frame the shot for him.
It's all directing to everything toward the 7 pin. Ooh. Oh boy. Pretty unlucky there. A little bit left or right. Had a chance of making a spare.
And instead it'll be a 9 box.
Triangle, 2, 4, 5, and 8. Diamond, triangle plus 1.
Geometry wasn't your best subject, was it?
Oh. Well, you can draw those pictures pretty quick for me, though. Take it a 9, so opportunity lost there for Paul. 2 open frames. And
you've heard of the expression, do I have to draw a picture for you? Well, in that case, yes, absolutely. Rich Hallberg pulling to the left. That seems to be the problem, if any, that Rich is having. When he misses the head pin, he tends to miss it to the left. Right on at that time, but not enough for the spare.
Which looks like he could be probably a tight end for the Patriots.
Guess what, about 6'5", 6'6"?
I would say, yeah. He's a big boy. I mean, he asked me what lane to start on. I told him he can start any lane he wants to. Choose one, Rich.
This time to the right with that first ball.
Both bowlers seem to be having problems hitting that head pin with that first ball. And, of course, that's the key to scoring in this game. That close.
Good second ball, both of these boxes for Rich, but unable to convert. Of course, you increase the degree of difficulty immeasurably when you don't hit the head pin on that first ball.
That's for sure.
Here's what happened on the second ball here.
Boy, that close, knocking that 10 pin down for the spare.
So again, an opportunity for Paul St. Pierre. This time he's on the head pin. He does not carry the extra pin, though.
Yeah, I want that 4 pin to get out of there, but he's got the 3-6-10 on the right with the 4 pin. Concentrate on the 3-6. Got to hurry. Yes, not getting under that ball. His ball wants to break from right to left. Either he's using too much speed or not turning the ball over like he normally does, but he's leaving it to the right. That one looked like he did, and sure enough, 10.
All even in this game, but Paul's still trailing by 27. And he kicks out the back pin of the diamond. Now this is a triangle.
Oh, I get it. I've got it now. 2, 4, 5, triangle.
And watch out for the wood.
Doesn't want that. Doesn't want that. It's going to make it very difficult to carry the 5 pin. You got to be high in the wood, and you risk the chance of leaving the other pin, but there it is, the 5.
Paul converts the 10 box. That will take us to a break. All even here in game 2. No marks yet. Rich Hallberg with the lead just about at the halfway point. We continue on Candlepin Stars and Strikes after these words. Don't go away.
On March 31st, 1993, Liberal Dick Sweat cast the most important vote of his career. He voted for final passage of a budget that included $272 billion in new taxes, paving the way for the largest tax increase in history. Dick Sweat said yes to higher taxes and bigger government. It was a defining moment. Dick Sweat proved beyond any doubt he's a liberal. Dick Sweat, we believe he's too liberal to trust with our money.
Jolly Jims. When you're looking for a bargain, all you need is Jolly Jims.
That's right. This weekend, it's time to bargain hunt at Jolly Jims, New England's largest indoor flea market, only at the Valley Expo Center in the Methuen Mall. At Jolly Jims, you'll find thousands of bargains and unbelievably low prices on gold and silver jewelry, tools, clothes, dollar tables, and much, much more. That's Jolly Jims Flea Market, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Valley Expo Center in the Methuen Mall, Methuen, Mass.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch. I love the crunch!
Good crunch. Bad aim. Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a grand slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
Honey frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
What's so good about the taste of apple cinnamon Cheerios?
It's an apple thing, right?
Definitely the cinnamon. No way, it's the baked-in taste.
Sliced apples, cinnamon, and brown sugar baked right into every little O of apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Baked-in taste, that's what makes them good.
Have you tried multigrain Cheerios?
I did that multi-grain thing back in the 70s. I don't want to do it again.
I like them.
Low fat.
No flavor.
These are very good. I like it. It's a 90s kind of thing.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you in part by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Rich Hallberg, the leader in the match. This is the first week of a brand new series. Last week, if you missed it, Paul Berger with a big 417 to qualify for the Tournament of Champions. And Rich Hallberg with the spare in the 5th. That is his 7th mark of the match.
He finally breaks the ice here in the second game with that spare in the fifth. Paul St. Pierre yet to throw a mark here in the second game. Just 4.
Rich using the towel a lot here in game 2. And it'll be a 9 box. So not really the full effect of that mark, just 23 pins in the 2 boxes. Paul St. Pierre has got to be thinking right now, Dan, that he's missing a golden opportunity, and there he takes advantage, putting up a strike.
Crosses over, as you can see that ball breaking from right to left into the 1-2 pocket for the strike, looking for the double. Got to hurry, just a little light, gets that triangle again. 2, 4, 5. Wood not in his way this time.
Oh, yes. Spare on strike. That will cut into the deficit.
Actually cuts the lead now, as you can see, to 20, but he still has the fill to put up there on the spare. So
next class, by the way, Dan, we'll work on trapezoids, okay?
3, 6, 4, 7. A little full on the 3-pin. So he'll be open in the 7th. Another opportunity for Paul St. Pierre.
9 box for Rich, 70 through 7. So both bowlers have cooled off here a little bit in the second game, but Paul St. Pierre mounting the attack with the strike spare back-to-back. Great pocket hit right there, and look at the lead.
5 and 10. Piece of wood, you might want to miss the 5-pin and hit the wood on the left-hand tip and swing it into the 5 and then eventually the 10. No, he was on the inside.
And you could hear Rich say nope. As soon as he let the ball go, he knew he was off target. So it'll be 2 more open frames, and with Paul St. Pierre already working on a spare, an opportunity to further chop into the lead here. As you see, it's 20 right now, but that will decrease by whatever Paul gets on this spare fill. Another pretty good ball, 7.
It looked like he was going to be left with a 3, 6, 10 and the 7-pin, but the 7-pin kicked out of there for a 7 fill on the spare and another makeable spare in the 3, 6, 10.
No.
A little full on the 3. They can gain another one in count. He's opposite a 9 box.
No. 9. But the lead is down to 13 now. Ball back on the head pin, but a little full again.
Didn't look that bad, but didn't get any mixing action at all. 2, 4, 7 on the right, 6, 10 on the left, 6, 10 on the right. No wood to help him.
Interesting choice here now for Paul.
Yeah, this is the same choice that Rich had. He's going to go for the 2 in the corner, make it 8. Lead jumps up to 15. We're losing 2 in count there, opposite the 10.
Hallberg to the left once again.
1, 3, 6, and 10.
With no playable wood now.
As somebody say in the audience, pretty when it goes. Sure would be.
Especially in this spot. Rich struggling here in game 2. He'd love to get 2 of these.
No, all difference in this game compared to his first one. In the first one, he was hitting the head pin probably 7 or 8 out of 10 times with the first ball. This game, probably just the opposite.
there it is again.
And when he does, this game, he's not really getting a good spare leave. The 5, 7, and 8. And it's better if the wood comes out front, which it did. So he's going to have to catch the wood and drive the ball into the 5, and hopefully the wood would take the 7 and the 8.
Oh, yes.
Off the sidewall. Spare in the 10th.
That wood was a good 2 feet in front of the 5 pin, and that helped a lot. Just clipping out the 5 from behind.
Did the damage with a piece of wood on all 3 pins. The ball actually flew up and over everything.
Oh, that was kind of an interesting hit.
Still happening for him.
And it'll be 7 for Rich and a 104. 2-game total, 243 for Rich Hallberg. So Paul St. Pierre needs at least 1 mark here in the last 2 to keep the lead under 20.
And again, he's got some unfavorable wood there to the left of the 3 pin.
Oh, got it. Nice shot. Had to stay away from
right straight through.
Yep, had to stay away from that wood. He actually did clip it just a bit. 3rd spare for Paul. Oh, he got a big break there on a ball that was high on the head pin.
And he knew it too. He threw his hands up like, oh, brother, I'm going through the middle, but he got a good mixing action. Almost was left with the, I don't know if it was a 2 or the 4 and the 10, but leaves just the 10 pin.
Uh-oh. That is the first 9 drop by either bowler today, and that's costly for Paul St. Pierre. It'll be just a 9 box. He takes a 120 for a 232, so the lead is 11 for Rich Hallberg with 1 game to go, and we'll have it for you on Candlepin Stars and Strikes when we come back.
Hi, I've been telling you that at Rockingham, Toyota, Dodge, Nissan in Salem, New Hampshire, you will find the best price from a dealership that cares. Well, let me tell you what you will find when you get there. First, when we can display Toyota, Dodge, and Nissan at one location, this is a rare opportunity for you to view the best selection of cars, trucks, and minivans in New England. Second, we are constantly adding cars and trucks to our used car inventory. So if it's a new or used car or truck, just remember Rockingham, Toyota, Dodge, Nissan in Salem, New Hampshire.
See you later, Mom.
Hey, how about a little reward?
A dozen roses.
A brownie filled with fudge.
A brownie.
Presenting Sweet Rewards Double Fudge Brownies.
Ooh, did you say double fudge?
Yep, surrounded by a dark, moist brownie.
Pardon me for drooling.
Go ahead. They're fat-free.
Get out.
Sweet Rewards Double Fudge Brownies. They're from Betty Crocker, so your whole family will love them.
You know, forget the flowers. I'll take a dozen of these.
Expressions of love, cuddling, tickling, frosting. Betty Crocker Rich and Creamy Frosting. When you love someone, spread it on thick. With Betty Crocker, life is sweet.
On Saturday mornings, Bisquick pancakes come out picture perfect. And if they don't, they still taste just as good. Bisquick. Make the most of it.
Introducing new Honey Nut Clusters. With a taste everybody will love. New Honey Nut Clusters combines honey toasted flakes and honey nut clusters for a delicious honey nutty taste. New Honey Nut Clusters. The taste everybody loves. Everybody.
We asked people to try a nutritious new pasta dish.
It's very good.
It's the spot.
This is wonderful.
Nice herbs and spices. What is it?
It's Hamburger Helper's new Italian herb.
Hamburger Helper?
That's Hamburger Helper?
I'm surprised. Under 325 calories per serving.
I'm a calorie counter.
No preservatives.
No preservatives. This is new then.
New Italian herb, one of 3 new flavors of Hamburger Helper.
I'm impressed. I think I'll put it in my shopping cart.
How about some more?
Makes a real good feel-good meal.
Mark.
Can you say please?
Please.
Okay.
Game 3 from Park Place Lanes in Wyndham. See Paul St. Pierre looking for his 2nd win. Oh, how about this? How about this? Well, you got to know where to throw him, I guess. Watch where this ball hits. Perfect strike ball.
Well,
there's the payback, though.
That's right, yeah. That was a much better ball, and look at the lead. 4, 7, and 9, no wood. Going to try to slap the 4 into the 7, come off the wall. But he's probably feel fortunate that he got the strike, and 8 fell on the strike.
So 27 in the opening 2 for Paul St. Pierre, and he's trailing by 11, so he wants to try and get at least one mark up there every time he steps up.
Well, a lot of times, usually when that lucky strike comes, the next one they bury it and get the double strike. It looked like Paul was going to do just that, but that just flat when it went into the pocket.
Speaking of strikes, $450 in our triple strike pool. Grows $50 every week that we don't have a winner.
Rich will shoot at the 4 horsemen left plus the 9 pin.
And the spare.
Nicely done. Matches Mark in the first frame.
9 marks now for Rich Hallberg. Rich has led from wire to wire so far. Oh, big 9 fill on the spare.
Everything but the 2 pin.
Nope.
Both bowlers misfiring on a 9 pin drop. Paul at the end of that second game, and now Rich here in the second of the third. Second box of the third game, gets it for the 10. Gains a couple in count. Lead now is 13.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes brought to you in part by our friends at Tri-State Megabucks. And now with Mega Cash, choose your dream. Tri-State Megabucks. The 1, 6, 7, 9, and 10 for Paul St. Pierre. With wood, let's see. No.
Good effort. But no mark to show for it, and that's what he needs. 13 pin deficit, you're about 2 marks behind your opponent. .36 through 3 for Paul.
Oh, that was a great pocket hit, and how about that? It looked like he was going to have the 4-10, and then they both got kicked out simultaneously.
That was, the ball was buried in the 1-3, and right there you look and say, my goodness, he's going to be left with a 4-10, and 2 pins came and knocked both of them down for the strike.
That's 4 strikes now for Paul St. Pierre today.
4 horsemen to the right, plus the 8 pin this time for Rich.
No.
Just missing the head pin.
He's had that happen several times today on spare tries. And it's a 9. So the lead 13, but now a critical box right here, opposite a strike from Paul St. Pierre. And off target for the half Worcester. And this thing could turn in a hurry. Good second ball.
Good try on the spare, but no mark to show for it. So all of a sudden, Paul St. Pierre is going to climb right back into this match, and lead should be in single digits after he fills that strike.
Rich gets away from the wood and takes the 10 box. Well, things getting interesting here on Stars and Strikes. Rich Hallberg still with the lead, but when we come back, Paul St. Pierre to fill a strike, trying to come from behind. We'll be back with more in a minute.
Bob Smith has a lot to learn about education. Smith voted to cut Head Start, against the school lunch program, against student loans for New Hampshire families. Smith even voted against funding for safe and drug-free school zones. Against school lunches and drug-free schools? Some politicians never learn. Help teach Bob Smith a lesson. Call him and tell him to stop voting to cut education. Stop voting against our children's future.
Enjoy one-stop cellular phone shopping at the Carphone Store. Buying a cell phone has never been easier. The Carphone Store can answer any question, hook up your service to the right carrier, and teach you how to use your phone before you leave the store. Pagers, portable phones, auto security, or radar detectors. Trust our on-site installation team with your security system or mobile phone. See our full line of accessories. If we don't have it, we guarantee to get it. Commitment to service beyond compare. The Carphone Store, and a whole lot more. South Daniel Webster Highway, Lamplighter Square, Nashua.
New Honey Nut Cheerios, and they're all for me.
Nobody can say no to new Honey Nut Cheerios. No, you can't say no to the Honey Nut O's and new Honey Nut Cheerios.
What's new is a better blend of real golden honey for a better taste and a bigger crunch.
Nobody can say no to the Honey Nut O's and new Honey Nut Cheerios. No, you can't say no to new Honey Nut Cheerios.
It's new.
Everybody loves this stuff. We're gonna wake up, you know who? Oh, cakes. Never had those. They're good and they don't have chocolate or anything. Oh, you know who? I like them.
Moms like cakes because it's low in sugar, with no added colors or flavors. Kids like the Big Corn Crunch.
Uh-oh.
Cakes.
I'll never get them back.
Kid tested, mother approved.
All right, very important ball right here for Paul St. Pierre, working on a strike and trying to come from behind, as he has been the entire match.
It's very similar where he hit that time the first box where the strike came back and headpin was the last one to go down. This time the four horsemen to the left, trying to go spare on strike. Oh boy.
Well, he does cut the lead to 4 with that 9, Phil.
He was looking to get spare on strike and possibly take the lead.
Rich Hallberg led at one point by 39. The lead is now 4. Pretty good pocket hit. Paul looking for a break on the 7-pin. He won't get it.
He's taking a look at the wood. Got 2 pieces of wood out in front of the 7-pin. I'd say you have to go right-hand tip. Let me see. Well, he's going to go right at the head red line, just the left of the red line. Not much there.
That's a 9. Ball slipped into the channel. So even though he's cut the lead to 4, Paul leaves the open frame. And Rich Hallberg will have a spare lead. And no, Rich takes himself out of the possible spare as that ball slipped into the channel, and that is an 8-box. So that could prove to be very costly right there. And Rich will now try the 3, 7, and 10. And no, wow. Just missing. Well, that's going to keep things very close. The 10-box for Rich Hallberg. And the scoreboard has been corrected now. A 10-box for Paul St. Pierre in the 3rd. So the lead is 2.
Got another spare leave in the 1, 2, and 4.
Yes. Big spare. It's basically a brand new match here with 4 boxes to go. That's only the 4th spare of the match for Paul St. Pierre, but he does have 4 strikes.
Ooh, a little high there, but he gets the break.
Wow. That looked like it would have been another split.
Well, you know, the more and more you hit the head pin with the first ball, good things are start to happen for you eventually. And that's what's happened to Paul St. Pierre. He's starting to get on that head pin with the first ball, and 2 nice breaks on 31.
Big ball from Rich Hallberg, everything but the 6 pin.
And this might be real crucial right here. His face with a spare strike, leading by just 2 and sliding by. This will give the lead to Paul St. Pierre.
And that's 2 singles that Rich has missed in this game for spares. Now at 6 open boxes in a row.
The lead now is 8 for Paul St. Pierre, but he's working on a strike also in the A, so it's crucial that Rich puts a mark up. Oh boy.
Wow.
What is that?
That's what Rich wants to know. 4, 5, 7, and 10.
You know, this might sound strange, but there's a pin behind the 5 pin. I'm not so sure I wouldn't try the 5.
Oh, how about that?
Or the 4, 7.
Well, that may keep him in the match.
We both would have made it, though. Great shot by Rich Hallberg. How much did he need that one? Lead now 8 pins. Paul will fill a strike. Rich will fill a spare when he gets up.
Look out, going for the double. But it's the 5, 7. Possibilities here, though, with the wood.
Absolutely.
Paul trying to direct the wood.
He's going to have to try to catch the 5 and the wood at the same time.
Let's see. Yes, for the spare. 3 marks in a row. First time today either bowler has had 3 marks in a row, and Paul does it in a good spot coming down the stretch. Missed the head pin that time, but here it comes again. 8 drop on the spare.
Well, this mark could make Rich Hallberg throw strikes.
Ooh, no, slip by.
And a slight opening for Rich. He's going to have to mark out. He's going to have big fills, but he's still in the match.
That ball is still on the plate. It just touched the 8 pin. Now it's spinning back, trying to come up to the head pin. Cindy Sissom is going to have to go and remove it eventually, but you wonder if it may just roll off, or maybe if it'll knock the 8 pin over.
I don't think it's got enough momentum to knock the 8 pin off. I think it's just going to be a nuisance and roll around.
So Cindy will remove it. And it'll be the 1 and the 8 for the final ball of the match for Paul St. Pierre. And he converts it for a 10 and a 143, 375 for Paul St. Pierre. Is it enough? Well, Rich Hallberg needs 133, which means he needs 2 marks.
Yeah, he's right now at a 106 clip, working on a spare. He needs marks and he needs good fills. Oh boy.
Well, there's a good fill, yep. But the old bugaboo again, the single pin.
How much is he thinking on this one? He just missed a single pin back in the 7th frame, and now he's going to have the 5 pin.
Does have a little guide here this time with the wood. No, no. Well, Rich knows what's going to end up costing him this match if he does wind up falling in this one. He needs a double strike now here in the 10th. He needs 29 pins to win it.
Well, I dare say if he wins the match, he'll probably win the triple strike pool as well.
No, it's not going to happen. Paul St. Pierre comes back from 39 pins down to win the match. And And what I said a moment ago might have been the key, Dan. Only one time in this match was each bowler able to put 3 marks in a row. Rich Hallberg started the match with 3 in a row, but Paul St. Pierre ended with 3 in a row, and that turned out to be the difference. 113 for Rich Hallberg, 356. But he falls to Paul St. Pierre with the big comeback victory. We'll be back to have the bonus ball contest and talk to both bowlers when we return in a minute.